Hey everybody, thanks for watching another interview. I'm Matt Quinlan and this is Boy Meets Film. Today we have Jesse Spaulding from SIC Visuals and we're going to talk about his product, the Ghost, which is an awesome looking product. Welcome to the show.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me.
So let's kind of jump into give us a little bit about who you are maybe and kind of what you do, where you came from before we kind of talk about your product.
Okay. So I guess just brief background. I live here in Missoula, Montana, and went to the University of Montana studying film and video production. So most of my background is actually in the video production side of things. And since graduating, started up a video production company, and that specialized in aerial cinematography and time-lapse production. And that's kind of where the Ghost evolved from, was necessity for having smoother aerial video.
So initially, the whole idea for this gimbal was to attach to an aerial, drone or whatever you want to call it, to be able to use to get better footage for that, and it kind of evolved into a handheld system. Is that kind of what happened?
Yep, definitely. And as far as like engineering goes, I don't have any formal education in engineering, but it's kind of always been more of a hobby of mine. And I built my first multi-rotor platform in 2011, and technology's evolved so much since then. But with the original version, it was the instructions were all in German, and you had to solder every component onto the main controller. And anyways, I learned a lot about electronics through that development, and it took me maybe 3 months to build first Opticopter, and it was 3 months of working like 16-hour days, so it was really intensive. And then I started flying that around and just had the camera attached on kind of a generic camera stabilizer at the time that used servos and had gears. There was a big delay in the camera movement, so that's when I realized that we need like more of a direct motor connection, a direct brushless gimbal for aerial filming. So yeah, that's kind of where that evolved from, was flying it with underneath our Opticopter, and then yeah, adapting it to a handheld unit and selling it for both handheld and aerial.
So you actually have two different versions. You actually still sell the aerial version and the handheld version then?
Yeah, we mainly sell the handheld version, and then there's an aerial adapter for it. So underneath the multi-rotor.
Oh, so you can actually can you take the Ghost, the handheld version, and take the actual gimbal and attach it with a kit to a Octocop or whatever you're gonna. Oh, cool.
With our newest model, it just snaps right in place, and it's making the transition just takes seconds. So the Ghost is a 3-axis brushless camera stabilizer, and I have two different models sitting here right now, so I could kind of run through, I guess, how it works. And yeah, I guess I'll talk to you about that a little bit. So this is our newest model. It's the Ghost V3, and we are now on our 3rd generation of the Ghost, and hence the name of the V3. So with each model that we produced, we've taken into account what customers want, what works for us, since we're out in the field using it a lot as well, and what we need to improve on. So now that we're on the 3rd version, I'm very confident that it's an amazing piece of equipment. They've all been pretty awesome, but each time, we've made those improvements, and yeah, the V3 is pretty awesome. So first of all, there's 3 motors that help stabilize the gimbal, and I'll run through it before I actually turn it on. Right now it's turned off, so you can move it however you want. But the V3 is really easy to balance a camera on, and one of the things that makes this product unique is that you can balance pretty much any size camera on here due to this rail system. So you can adjust where the motors are at on the rails and make it stabilize pretty much any size camera. So the camera's already balanced on here right now, and there's a sensor right underneath the camera that we have pre-programmed for a level position. So anytime that sensor is moved, then these 3 motors are going to compensate for that movement. And there's the main sensor, and then there's the main controller, in the back. So the controller is what's telling each motor how to compensate and keep a level horizon, make the moves that you want it to. Yeah, we just have the battery mounted right back here. It's just a quick release battery. It's really similar to the Sony BP U30, which runs a lot of different Sony video cameras. And then on the V3, another unique thing is that we now have encoders built into each of the motors, which just allows a lot more precise movement, and the battery life is a lot longer and just makes for a lot smoother gimbal. So yeah, I'll go ahead and power it up and I guess kind of show you how it works. So on the back, there's the power switch. There's also a mode switch right on top of the controller. And then I'll straighten it out, turn the power switch on. You hear the initiating startup, and probably didn't see it move too much, but the motor's engaged and it's silent operation, so you won't really hear the motors, which is great for if you do need to record audio. And right now it's in a follow mode, so it'll track my movements, whether I'm panning left and right or if I'm going to pitch up and down. And while I do any of that movement, the horizon is always going to stay level. So that's one thing that you'll notice with handheld video. You get a lot of shakiness going on, and the horizon is usually not going to stay level. So with a brushless camera stabilizer, you can have that horizon always perfect. And with the follow mode, it still tracks your movements, but with much smoother movement to it. And we have several different modes that you can operate in. Follow mode is what most people are probably going to use. It's very intuitive. You could hand this over to a kid and they could run around with it, and the footage is going to look like super amazing, like they're professional. So yeah.
So it looks pretty light, actually. When you picked it up, I was kind of surprised. I mean, a lot of there's some that are actually fairly heavy. I've held a couple of them and they're quite heavy. How much does the actual unit weigh? So
the V3 model weighs right around 4 pounds.
Wow, that's light.
Yeah, one of the key focuses in going into production with the V3 was to keep it as lightweight as possible. So with the rail system, it minimizes a lot of weight while keeping the flexibility for adjustment. And yeah, so it's very lightweight. This model is only made to carry cameras up to 5 pounds. So it's made more for your smaller video cameras and SLRs or Micro Four Thirds cameras. Yeah, but yeah, it's very lightweight. You can operate all day long with a system like this just because it's not going to really fatigue your arms.
So you mentioned that there's that's your V3, and is there a version that is designed to use a heavier weight camera if someone was looking to get something that would maybe their rig was a little heavier than 5 pounds? Do you have something that they would be able to get?
Yep. So we do have the Pro model, which is sitting back here. You might be able to see that.
Yep.
A little bit in the screen. So yeah, you have a side-by-side comparison right now with the V3 and the Pro. And the biggest difference is the motors have a lot more torque. So the Pro model, it does weigh more, but you can hold cameras up to 12 pounds. And because the motors have about 12 pounds of torque. So it can balance a lot larger camera. But you can still operate with a smaller camera on there as well. Like right now, we have the 5D mounted to it. But it is made more for cinema style cameras like the FS700 or something like that.
So now, as far as the availability of your gimbals, I know you just really finished the crowdfunding for the V3. Is that right? Like a month ago or so.
Yep.
So I assume that you probably went into production for all of the pledgers, people that pledged for the Kickstarter. What kind of availability is it looking for in the future for that model?
Yeah. So the V3, we actually just finished production on this, and we're in the process of shipping out all of our Kickstarter orders. Mm-hmm. So that'll probably take the next couple weeks, and then any new orders that are placed, it'll probably be a couple weeks until we can ship those out.
So it's fairly soon, anyways. It's not like a long ways in the future. You already went through production anyways.
Yep, yeah, production's completed, and yeah, we're ready to ship. The Pro model we have in stock right now, so the Pro we're able to ship whenever.
Yep. And what besides the actual gimbal does it include? Like, is there a case that comes with it or anything like anything like that? Does it include?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and turn this off. Both gimbals will come with cases and the stand. Yep. This is the new stand for the V3 model, which collapses down. Pretty nice and small, easy for travel. And we can fit the whole V3 package inside this case. So this is the new custom case for the V3. So yeah, we'll ship it with, it'll come in the case, and it'll come with a charger, a battery, the quick release plate that goes on the bottom of the camera. And we have the option for accessory mounts that can go up on top, and a joystick as well.
So that case that you have there, you can actually fit the gimbal as well as the stand in there. So you'd pretty much just a compact unit. You carry one case with you, and you've got everything.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, it breaks down really pretty small. I can't quite do it with the camera on here right now, but yeah, the handlebars will just undo the knob, and then the handlebars just slide right off. You can unscrew the grips, and then this will sit sideways in the case. And then the actual gimbal just folds up nice and compact. And then if you do want to mount it onto a multi-rotor, you'll just snap the handlebars off, and then the plate that attaches underneath any type of multi-rotor, you'll slide that right in place.
So it's as easy as just removing the handles and snapping it into place for a multi-rotor.
Yep.
Cool.
Definitely.
Oh, awesome. Now, as far as so you have like a separate kit that must go with a multi-rotor that you attach to the bottom of that. So is it like a quick release type plate that goes on there? Is that what it is?
Yeah. So there's so many different multi-rotors available out there that we tried to create a pretty generic type of mounting system. It is vibration dampening, and then it mounts on 12 millimeter rails, which a lot of different multi-rotors will have that attachment underneath. So you'll just hook it onto the rails, and then it has pretty much the same quick release system that these handlebars have. So you can just snap the Ghost in place that way.
I know that you've had a really good response, especially you said that you've done a couple of different crowdfunding campaigns for the Ghost. I know that you've had a really good response with those. So what's it kind of feel like to put this out there, having it created, come up with this idea, and then having all these people come behind you and say, well, that's a really good idea, let me support you so you can get this done? That must feel awfully cool.
It is amazing. Yeah, especially the first Kickstarter, it was just so unexpected. I mean, the very first Kickstarter we did wasn't product related at all, and it didn't succeed. So when we went back and decided to do another Kickstarter, I was like, is it worth doing it? Who knows? Because I mean, it is really hit or miss whether your product's going to catch on or not. And I did a bunch of research with other camera equipment that had been on Kickstarter, and it seemed like the success rate was pretty high. So we went ahead and launched through Kickstarter, and the feedback was amazing. I mean, we hit our goal really early on when we started launching, and then we actually started reducing the number of products that we were going to sell, because going into production with camera equipment was something completely new to me. And I knew we could do it, I just didn't know how many we could produce and how many we could deliver on time. So I actually started limiting the quantity that we were going to sell on Kickstarter, just so I could make sure we shipped within our time frame. And then right away we set up an online store and started selling through our website, Ghost Gimbals. And and then the newest Kickstarter, we thought that it's the way to get the product out there, kind of a way of taking pre-orders for a new product, and it really helps you organize as an owner of a business. Helps you organize the different aspects you want to advertise of your product and different price points. So it's great for that. We've had amazing response, and super thankful to all of our Kickstarter backers, because without them, then we wouldn't be here at all with the Ghost. So it's been awesome.
Having just finished the V3, are you looking to the future? Are you already coming up with ideas of things you want to do next?
Yeah, definitely. technology world. So, yeah, we're constantly designing, innovating, and once the V3 gets out there and we get feedback from that, then that'll help with, the next generation. But yeah, we do have other products in mind.
So starting when a customer gets it right out of the box and they buy it and it ships to them, around how long do you think it takes to first balance the camera? What do you think about?
So, well, let's see. I did like a basic setup video online, and the whole run through of the video I think is about 8 minutes maybe. So then I go through, getting, like, once you get it from the case and setting up the stand and balancing your camera to, turning it on. So, 10 minutes and someone can have it up and running. To view any more information on our Ghost camera stabilizers, you can go to ghostgimbals.com, and we have some example videos on there. You can order directly through our website. You can also order on Amazon. And then we also have SICVisuals.com is another website where you can just view some other example videos and get some more information on the Ghost.
Cool. Well, thank you so very much for allowing us to talk with you and telling us about your product. It's really cool and innovative, and it was just an honor to talk with you, especially to have someone that's so, with your background in production and then kind of transitioning into production, different kind of production, I guess, from film production to gear production. So, but thank you very much for talking with us. It was a pleasure talking with you, and remember, to everybody that's watching, check out in the description below. There'll be links to all of the websites, and there, like he said, that there's example videos. If you're looking for a gimbal, this is definitely something you should consider. So make sure to check out their website.